Tonight, you guys are live here on the Dixie Belle Paint Facebook and Instagram page. My name is Brandy. I am the owner and artisan behind Brushed by Brandy. I am a Dixie Belle Paint brand ambassador, and I paint here live with you guys every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. So it is Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's what I'm here to tell you. Yeah, I know. You guys made it to Thursday. That's why we celebrate, because Thursday's almost Friday, right? It's almost the weekend.
Makes me appreciate Friday more.
Yeah, nobody really works on Friday anyways.
What?
I don't. Do you? Alright, you guys. So we are here to paint tonight. You guys, my husband Sean is here with me to answer any questions. So pop on and ask anything you guys want to know as we go through and paint, but we are going to work on this nightstand. So if you guys didn't catch us last week, we started this nightstand. We did the prep on it, and then we laid this base coat on it, and it's a messy base coat. My first coat is always just kind of conceptualizing my colors, getting coverage on, you know, choosing my basic layout of everything, and that's where we are right now. So this week we are going to lock this down. We're going to perfect this coat right here.
You're going to give this a ring?
Yeah, we're really going to step it up a notch this week. Last week, not my A game. No, I'm kidding. So let me tell you guys the colors that we're using on this piece. I have 5 colors. I listed them all in the post too, you guys. So if you missed them, you can refer back to the post afterwards. And then my link is in there if you guys want to order any of the colors that we use tonight. I always appreciate purchases made through there. I earn a small percentage of those sales. That's how they tell me I'm doing a good job. So
you're doing a good job.
Wow, thanks for the pat on the back.
Golf clap.
Yeah. Okay, so our first color I'm going to use is the white that I've got here, and I'm using Dixie Belle Fluff, which is a nice white. I'm going to turn them backwards so you guys can see the colors together. This is the Gulf, which is a soft teal blue. I have Mermaid Tail, which is mermaid tail.
Wow.
Antebellum blue, and then Midnight Sky. So, you know, you can see in here that I'm leaning towards the teal blues. There are different blues in the Dixie Belle line that can lean towards gray, and you can move towards the grays. You can lean towards greens. There's different ways you can go with blues, but I'm pulling out the teals in here, so that's where we're going. So let's go ahead and start painting on here. I'm going to go ahead and open my paints up.
I just want to do a video on faces made while opening paint.
Oh, I don't know. I have to go through. Can you open that one? Make yourself useful.
No, not of me.
Wait, after these are over, you guys, on Instagram, you have to choose like a cover photo. So it forces you to go through the video and choose a moment that you like to be the cover. And that's basically just looking through the faces that you make while you're painting. And everyone, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to give myself a good cover for Instagram this week. Okay, there we go. That way when I'm scrolling through now, I can pick that one. Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah. As good as we're going to get. All right, I'm going to turn this a little bit so that I can see it a little bit better. Can you see okay if I go like,
yeah.
If I go right there?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I have out 1,000,000 brushes. That's what you're going to need to do this look. 1,000,000 brushes is what I recommend. But really, I like to lay paint on with my Dixie Belle Mini. So these are my Dixie Belle Minis. I usually end up using one for each color. So I've got that covered, and then I've got a couple extras out. The reason for that is because I'm blending with white, and once you start blending with white, it starts getting kind of muddy really easily. White changes color really quickly, obviously, because it's white. And then I'll go to a different brush and I'll really get that white nice and pure. So that's kind of why I have extra brushes. And then of course my oval medium, which we're going to use to kind of brush out some of the transitions between these colors as I really perfect them. So
Wait, can I just ask you a quick question?
No, I'm sorry.
There's a knock at that door.
Oh, is there? No. Come in. Is this, can I open it? I think it's like painted shut.
Is it?
This is like a fairy door.
No, this is why I don't do furniture.
Yeah, who painted this? This is terrible. That's the same dude. He wants to know if you want to buy some Mary Kay. Which I highly recommend. You guys want to see? Okay, so we have this door on the wall, but do you guys want to see who's in there?
Hello. Can you dig it?
Yeah, it's like having a little voodoo doll or something on hand all the time for inspiration. So I feel like if he's in there, then I can channel my inner Bob Ross. By inner, I mean inside the wall. So we're gonna stick it back in there. His hair's a little big. Yeah.
I wonder if he ever drove a convertible.
You know, we're just gonna let him watch like a studio audience. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and lightly sand. This is my first coat, and the paint dries to a really chalky matte finish. I've got a couple little dust specks I see in there, but I want to just really smooth this out. So I just I don't like to call it even a sanding because it's just brushing it a single pass.
That's right, Ray. What a happy little find.
Yeah, happy clouds. Happy hole in the wall. Okay, so I just do a single pass with my Dixie Belle sanding sponge. And then I've knocked down any of those little particles. You can feel the difference. I know you guys can't tell on camera, but if you've ever painted and you just brush your paint with that sanding sponge, you can really feel the difference in what it makes in that coat of paint.
Thought we were going to pull up Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. With his lawn chair. Oh my gosh.
Love it.
I guess we need to go on Amazon.
Oh, we're on to something now.
We'll be shopping for a friend for Bob.
It's a weekend at Bernie's.
We'll be hanging out together. Okay, and then I just tack off the dust. I did go ahead and do that to all my other sides before we started on camera. Another reason I like to do that is because if I have any little particles in here, like for example, I have white slick stick under here. And I'd rather knock it down before I have to do my final coat. Otherwise, if I come back and I sand my final coat, I have these little white, tiny little specks that you get. And so I'd rather knock those down. So now I can cover them with my second coat of paint, and they're not going to show up again after that. So let's see, where do I want to start tonight? I think I'm going to let's start with my white. Because last time I started with my Midnight Sky, and I usually try to reverse my order on the next coat, and that's just so I make sure that I get it even. So I'm going to come in here. This is my fluff. It is cold here in California. We are having winter storms right now, rain, wind, all that good stuff. My paint is thick right now, which means it's taking a little bit longer to set up. It's going on a little bit thicker. I actually last night added a little bit of water to these paints because on top of them being thick, they weren't laying on as well. So when your paint feels a little thick, either put it into a bowl, give yourself a little bit of water. Your mister bottle really helps with that, but the cold winter weather, it thickens up viscosity. Did that sound like I know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking about oil.
I'm talking about viscosity.
It's like a vowel commercial.
Okay, so when I'm going to blend colors together, I'm only going to work 2 colors at a time. Okay, so right now I'm going to focus on getting this transition in between the Gulf and Fluff where I want it to be. I'm not going to keep going because I want to pay attention to this before my paint starts to set up. This is my original brush from the Fluff. It barely has any paint on it, so I can come back and start brushing these two together. I'm going to show you guys my brush in a minute because you'll see what I was talking about with it getting muddy really easily. So I feel like I like how these are transitioning, but look at how white picks up the paint really quickly. So now I'm never going to get pure white out of this again. So when I want to get pure white, I just take another brush, and this one I'm just going to hit this corner and pure it up a little bit. I'm not going to go out here into the Gulf with it like I did the last one. Okay, so I just pure up that corner a little bit, and that gives me a clean, crisp white just in the corner where I want it. I'm going to pop this drawer out because I don't want to paint it shut. So I always pay attention to that. Did I already? Oh, it's not. Oh, there we go. Okay.
And go.
There we go. These are stubborn.
Oh, apparently we got to rebuild it.
This is a customer's piece. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at these glides. The glides stick on this one a lot. So, but my usual process on that is I don't pay attention to the inside of a piece. I don't clean the inside, and I don't work on the inside until I'm done painting, because while I'm painting, I'm going to do all this stuff like get dust inside, from sanding. I'm going to, if I get paint on this side here, I'm going to need to sand that away. So I don't worry about those things till the very end. And So I know that I'm going to need to come back and look at this, but I don't worry about that till the very end, unless it needs a repair. And I know this isn't a repair. I just need to probably either oil the glides or possibly sand them a little bit.
Bob's open door policy is really bothering me.
Oh, is it distracting?
Yeah. I
can't get him in. His hair is too big.
I get that a lot.
I don't think you do.
No?
No.
No.
All right, so I got my, I carried it up onto my drawer edges and over here as well. And then I've got a nice, they don't even want to close very well. Yeah. This is my customer's piece. She's had these since she was a kid. So now let's pay attention. I'm going to go into my mermaid tail. So I carried the gulf down a little bit further than I actually want it. That's a really pretty color combination. The gulf into mermaid tail is beautiful. It's very beachy. All right, so I carried my gulf out a little further than I want it, and now my paint is still pretty fresh. It's not feeling sticky yet. If it is, I've got my mister bottle in hand. I could just add a little bit of water. And with barely any paint, I mean, I don't add a lot of paint. Make sure I get up here under this lip. I always pay attention to all the angles of my piece. So even on this one, I already did it last night, but I'll do it again. I will lay this on its back and make sure I get all up under here. Make sure that there's not spots that I can't see from this angle, but if you are, you know, down on the floor doing your Pilates exercises, you're going to catch those views. And I don't ever want someone to see.
Yeah, I don't want to catch those views.
So
actually, I just don't want to do Pilates.
You just don't want to do Pilates. Solid plan. All right, so I like that, and now I'm going to work my antebellum. I think I'm going to need a little bit more mermaid tail over here, so because I like to carry it over a little bit further, and that way I have enough paint to work a transition out. So if I wanted it to stop here, I need to carry my paint out a little bit further so that I have a little bit that I can work into my next color.
Could you be a deer and scoot back and I can move the piece? Bob's really bothering me. He's all up in the...
He's all up in your camera shot.
Yeah,
He's
like sabotaging it.
He's all photobombing me.
Yeah.
I hate when people try to steal my thunder.
Yeah, that must suck.
I mean, I get 1 hour a week, right?
Yeah.
That's all I ask. Bob has like a Netflix show and everything. Okay, so that's my antebellum, roughly where I want it. I'm going to carry that down a little bit more, and then let's work my mermaid tail in. So I'm just kind of paying attention to one transition at a time. If I need to come back and touch something up, I most definitely can, but I'm going to try to get them. And I want this to kind of wave across my piece, so I'm not doing any straight lines here. I didn't add any paint to my mermaid tail brush. I'm just brushing it through where it meets up to that antebellum blue. I don't like this spot right here. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and soften that a little bit. My paint is still pretty fresh. So I'm just with a really soft hand going to feather that out. I just didn't like that spot. And then I'm going to wipe my brush. And I also feel like I want to soften this one a little bit too. Give myself a little bit of water. This paint's getting a little sticky. It's starting to set up. All right, so I like that. How's that look on camera?
Looking good.
Yeah, you like?
What's that brush you're using, by the way?
This is my Dixie Belle Mini, and then I introduced my Oval Medium. Those are my two favorite brushes. I know that the Dixie Belle brushes are sold out online right now. That's a COVID situation. At this point, we should just be used to it. Dixie Belle is working on it. Trust me, it is a constant project. But in the meantime, a lot of the Dixie Belle retailers also have the brushes in stock. So check with your local retailer to see if they have any of the brushes if you're after one. The mini and the oval medium, and when I say mini, I use both the mini angle and the flat mini. I probably use the flat more than the angle. So the angle is obviously meant for cutting corners, getting into little edges and things like that. I use the flat probably more. Okay, I'm going to tip this back and I'm going to use my wall for a minute. Don't mind if I do.
Probably cover Bob up.
Yeah. All right, and I want to make sure that my blend goes up under this lip right here. I'm just going to soften this spot right here where the mermaid tail and the gulf come together. All right, and then I'm going to just get those working together up under the lip so it looks continuous. And I want to come down here and hit this leg right here. This is my midnight sky. So far I have a brush for each color, and then I'm going to give myself a little bit of water. The water just helps the paint glide on really smooth. My second coat, I have pretty good coverage, but remember, if you followed us last week, this is covering a base of white primer. So while my coverage is really good, I do have a little bit of white every once in a while that I see, so I just want to make sure that I get that on. But my coat on this second coat is really thin. It's more water and a little bit of the paint. And then it's going to self-level. That nice wet paint will self-level as it's drying and give me that super smooth coat that doesn't have any brush strokes. All right, so I got up under my leg. Like I said, when I'm done, I'm going to flip this on its back and make sure that I get all up under this lip. I'm going to give myself a little bit more midnight sky. And I just kind of want it to hit this kind of like that, just a little bit on the front, and then I'll soften that, but let's go up a little higher right here and cut this corner a little bit. So I like that. And then down on this side here, the midnight sky will only come up because it's waving. It's waving.
It's saying hello.
Hello. We are going to do gold leaf on this, you guys. So I think that's what we're going to do to it next week. So if you guys have been following this, come back next week and we will put the gold leaf on here. And that's really going to bring this all together. And our gold leaf is going to be kind of waving as well. So I like that. That's really nice and soft right there. And then let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it and get this other leg on this other side, and we'll get our antebellum coming down here. So just tipping it up like this just helps me a little bit. We'll come do this side in a minute. I guess then you can't see the front.
You just stuck it in.
Oh man, that's okay. All right. So I'm going to get down here at the bottom of my leg. I'm going to give myself a little bit of water and make that paint go all the way up the leg. Very little paint, just a nice, smooth finish coat is what I'm putting on right now. But I got the front of this piece done, and it goes pretty quickly if you just watch one area at a time. And then I want this antebellum to come down further on this side. Give myself a little bit of water. I am going to need to fix this again, but I'm just going to work my antebellum down that leg into the midnight sky. Antebellum and midnight sky are pretty close in color, so they do blend together really easily. I'm going to fix this spot right here. I just got a little bit of midnight sky right there, and I want to keep that nice and rich in the blue, in the lighter blue. So I just give myself a little bit more of my color. Let's work that dark into it again. So sometimes you do have to come back and just fix one of them, and then my oval medium, and I'll just soften those two together. Midnight sky and antebellum blue were made for each other. All right, and also knowing that I need to come back, and I always want to get inside the frame, right? So this I need to make match all the way around. I want to make sure that I make this match. Okay, so let's do this side over here. So this is a very rough coat. There's nothing pretty about it. I have my colors basically laid on, and now I can come back and soften up like here where they meet up, and I just kind of brushed them together really quick. Now is my time when I'm going to really make that what I want it to be. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to keep going with my midnight sky down here on my leg. Sorry, I know I'm all over the map. Go low, go high. feel like Bob is judging me right now.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like he's like...
It's almost like he's looking down on you.
I would never do that.
First, this is on a canvas.
Yeah, Bob, you tell him.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day, our brand ambassador team was talking, the Dixie Belle brand ambassadors, about working on a project together and an irrational fear of canvas. And I am absolutely guilty of that. I can paint a piece of furniture, it can be blank and wide open space and have no problem coming up with a design, but you give me a blank white canvas and like frozen. The struggle is real, guys.
Sheila notices.
What?
I'm trying to keep that piece out of the view too.
I don't care. You can show that because actually that's the original finish that this piece was. So that's the dresser that matches this nightstand. It's actually going to have the same finish on it.
Sheila, I know you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, but it's actually it's probably good to see how far it's going to come and how ugly that piece is. It's just got that, I'm sure it used to be white at some time, but when you put an oil-based finish on, oil-based finishes yellow over time, and that has had some time to yellow.
I feel it's crowded in here. Three's a
Yeah.
little much.
All right, so I got my antebellum blue on. Now I'm going to come in. This is my mermaid tail, and I'm kind of working it myself backwards this time. I don't think there's any right or wrong way if you have a certain order that you prefer. Like I said, I usually try to reverse, just so, because you can tend to get heavy-handed one way or the other. And that way I can make sure that I try to keep my colors pretty even, going back and forth. So this is mermaid tail. I'm going to work it into my antebellum blue. I want to keep it wrapping around the corner so it makes sense as I wrap this corner right here. Give myself a little bit more mermaid tail. And then let's fix the antebellum.
Everybody's loving the colors and the blending.
Aren't they pretty? These are pretty colors. I've done these colors a ton, and this is a customer set. I've done a few pieces for her, and her house is gorgeous because it's full of color. You know, every room's got a little bit of color in it, and so this will be kind of a statement set for a bedroom. I don't know if it's going in her bedroom or a guest bedroom. I should ask. All right, so this is the gulf. I give myself a little bit of water, and let's carry this up to roughly where I want it. Get it up under this lip right here, and we're coming into my white. Oh, dreaded white. You guys will notice I very rarely choose white for blending. It's tough to blend into. It muddies up really fast. I'll either choose an off-white color like sawmill gravy or drop cloth. Fluff even has a slight gray undertone, so it's not pure. But man, I'd rather work with colors any day of the week.
Donna says she's going to have nightmares about things in the wall.
Hey, Bob Ross is the best thing you can have coming out of your wall. What did we watch? Oh, you know what it was? We watched the movie Poltergeist not that long ago, when they have all the scary movies on at Halloween time again. And I don't know, having the little girl's closet where it's got the poltergeist coming out of it, that was like, oh my gosh. Oh, where the clown is in the closet. That's what it was. Yeah.
In the bedroom.
Yeah, in the bedroom closet. Like, I don't think as a kid, I don't think I could ever look at a closet the same again.
That's what you got out of that? That was your takeaway?
Yeah. I mean, I could. Don't get me wrong.
Not a fear of clowns or anything like that, but
no, but a fear of closets.
Ooh, spooky closets.
Okay, so I'm wrapping my white, and same thing here. My white is picking up that blue. It muddies up the blue pretty quickly. I'm just feathering it out into my other colors. At this point, too, you guys, I have two neutral brushes. Do you guys notice the difference between the two? One's started where I'm blending my lighter colors and then I'm blending my darker colors. If I try to come up and soften my darker color or my white with this at this point, it's gonna have Midnight Sky in it. So I end up with one brush. That's for these lighter transitions. Feather that out. Bye-bye brush strokes. And then down here, if I wanted to work colors together, I would use this darker one. So that's kind of what I end up doing.
Here, let's reference the brush and put it 4 feet out of camera view.
Yeah. Sorry, I showed you.
This is the one I'm going to use.
I showed you.
Way over here.
So this is where I am on brushes right now. But they're pretty though, right? All right, and then I'm going to clean up my white with that brush that just has the pure white on it, and I'm not going to work it out into those other colors because I want to keep this one pure, nice and pure white. I did not add any paint to it. I'm just using what was on it from when I used it, 20 minutes ago. All right, so we've got this side pretty good. So you can kind of see it came down on the front. Now it's going back up here. Let's wrap the back and see what the back's going to look like. So here my dark blues are coming up on the corner and they're going to go back down again. Again, I've already done my sanding. You can kind of see that it's got a little bit of white marks on here just from sanding. That'll go away when I put my next coat over it. But if this was my final coat and you've got those white marks on your dark colors, when you seal your paint, those will go away. So don't let that scare you. All right, I'm going to get my leg first. So I'm going to tip this up a little bit and get down here on the bottom of my leg.
So if someone were to put Big Mama's butter on the piece, can they come back and add gator hide?
No, Big Mama's butter is an oil. Big Mama's butter is oil based. Gator hide is water based. So it's literally oil and water. It will not adhere. So you need to remove any oil that you have on your surface if you're going to put a water based product over it.
And now you're painting the back because it had the factory finish
previously, good
correct?
question. Last week you guys would have seen that this had the factory finish on the back of the piece. So if the factory finished the back, then I'm going to finish the back as well. So that's the only reason I'm painting the back on this piece. Usually I do not bother painting furniture backs. They're going to go up against the wall. Nobody's ever going to see them. It's a waste of paint. I have a blog post that I wrote about it. And I showed you a bunch of furniture backs and different reasons I would or would not paint them. But for the most part, I do not paint my furniture backs. Okay, while I've got it tipped up like this, I turned this leg right here, and now I can see under here that I want to fix this leg. So as I turn it, I'm going to be looking at all the different angles and fixing any spots I see from those two. So I'm just going to fix that little blend on the back of that leg. And now I feel at peace with it. Now I can sleep tonight.
Oh, good.
I give myself a little bit of water.
And you prefer a Mr. bottle over a spray bottle?
Yes, because if you use a spray bottle, you're going to get heavier water droplets. It lays the water on much heavier. The Mr. bottle is laying on the tiniest amount of water. It's literally a mist of water. If you're laying on water from a regular spray bottle, you're going to get really frustrated because it lays it on much heavier and you're going to end up with water droplets everywhere. Here, if I spray a mist and it's more water than I need, those water droplets will evaporate and I won't even notice them. But if you end up with these big drippy spots from having heavy water laid on, you're going to get really frustrated. So Mr. bottles started out being hairstylist misters, and then the artist world stole them. I don't know if that's the story. That's not the true story. Yeah. But that's the story that you know, I like to tell is you definitely want, if you're going to paint, I don't know, even one piece, have a Mr. bottle. If you're going to even attempt any of this.
I don't think you could write for Wikipedia. You're making a lot of stuff up.
Can't anybody write for Wikipedia? Can't you just go on there and make stuff up until someone catches it? Asking for a friend. Anyone can be a historian, right? All right, my angle on this is bad. I'm going to turn this now that I've gotten that leg down low. I can turn this so that I can start working up here. So I went ahead and did my Midnight Sky into the antebellum. And my next color, the order is always the same. Next is Mermaid Tail. And I first start out just by laying the paint on. I'm going to give myself a little bit of paint to work with in the area that I want it. A wider stripe than I know that I'm going to need because I want to have plenty of area, and then I can start working it in this case, to the antebellum down below. I'm just using my same brush from the mermaid tail at this point. It has barely any paint on it. If you get too much paint, when you start working the colors together, it just makes a big soupy mess. But if you get barely any paint, I lay it off up here, and then I can start working down, and I don't have the paint on my brush anymore.
Now, I don't want to jinx you, but have you ever grabbed the wrong brush?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure I've done it on camera like 20 times.
And then how do you go about fixing that?
You just paint over it. It's just paint.
You just paint over it.
You know, it's kind of like my base coat on this has all those mistakes on it, but as I go through right now, this is my chance. I can fix it. So it's the same. There have been plenty of times I do a blend and I let this dry, and I might come back tomorrow in the daylight and say, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And reblend a whole side of this piece. That would not be uncommon. So same thing with mistakes. If you see a mistake in your piece, I can just come back tomorrow and redo a side of this. If you're not liking where it's going, you're getting frustrated, let your paint dry and come back the next day. And you just redo that side, redo your coat, redo whatever it is. If your paint starts getting muddy and wet and you've overworked it and you're starting to pull the layers underneath, you got to let it dry and just come back the next day and give it another shot. Man, we've all been there. Okay, so I really like this down here, and now I'm into this corner of the white. The white. I
just wanted to say hi to, excuse me, Fireball.
Oh, hey, Fireball June.
Where is...
Is it on the other stool?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is my white. This is my brush that had the kind of dirty white on it, where I let it go into the gold. And then I'm going to clean this up, get my transition nice, and then I can come pure up just that corner in the pure white.
For everybody coming on later, what is that spooky doll?
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
That is our water valve, by the way.
It was Sheila that I've joked with Sheila before, because Sheila is eagle eyes, right? You could show her a picture of furniture and she'll like zoom into what's behind it and be like,
the paper clip that's sitting on the floor.
Is that a paper clip on the floor? Did you lose that? And you're like, wow, thanks, you just found it for me. So I talked to her one time. I was going to start hiding stuff in the background just to see if people noticed it. All right, so I really like this. Let me get the inside of this leg while I've got it turned. Guys, we're going to finish this whole second coat, which is a perfected blend, on a side table in this live tonight. Yeah, I got plenty of time.
What?
I know. We're going to get all around this side table, which is pretty cool because this is a pretty complex look. I've got 5 colors going on, and I just work one side at a time, and we're going to get all around this side table in one live. Okay, and I'm fixing underneath this leg right here. I can see on this corner it comes up into antebellum, so I'm going to just blend my antebellum in right there. All right. I don't think I'm going to do the top though, just because it's a bad angle. And I'm looking at the inside of this leg at the same time. I think I'm going to give myself another coat on here. That's just pure Midnight Sky under this leg.
There we go, just painting off camera. It's cool.
Well, since I can see it, I mean, I don't want to just leave it. Okay. I'm sorry, guys.
Or maybe you're not even really painting at all.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to... this inside of this one looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I'm looking for where I need Midnight Sky on this side. That's what I'm doing. And it's kind of just this corner right here, and then I'll make sure that I wrap my front and then it matches up to everything I did on the front of the piece as well. But I think I'm just right here for the Midnight Sky.
Oh. Gary, it's funny you mention that.
What?
So Gary said he's waiting for the mouse in the wall.
Oh, man. Don't even joke about that. We have a brand new house. We better not have mice.
No, I found one in the pool.
Oh, the pool.
Yeah.
Oh. It's pouring here for days. It's been pouring. And so our pool is overflowing. We're having
It's going out faster than, or it's coming in faster than it's going out.
We're having to keep draining the pool because there's so much water coming down right now. But our pool is like a haven for, okay, I'm going to tell, we had friends over this summer and we were all swimming.
It's like, what are you going to tell?
One of the little girls lost her goggles, and so I was like, oh, maybe it went into the
basket, the skimmer basket.
Let me go check, right? So I stick my hand in the skimmer
basket. Which
basket.
is at the deep end of the pool.
Yeah. You know, the little flappy door thing at the end. I just stuck my hand in there to like see if they went into the basket. I just want you guys to guess right now. I'm going to leave that for a minute. I just want you to guess what was inside the skimmer basket. It was not a dead mouse.
Your hand.
Well, yeah, my hand and...
Wait for it.
Company.
Yeah. Bob Ross.
Yeah. Yep. He was there
that guy
too.
Is everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's all knowing. He's like the modern Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah. Let's ask Bob
You gotta
Ross.
market that.
Bob Ross, what color should I paint this? Well, now you just gave it away on camera.
But you have to ask the question with the answer included. See,
I know I'm going to, but at first I want to read the guesses. It's what I do for entertainment, you guys. It's all I have.
Oh, a snake?
Oh, that's good. That's pretty good. That's pretty.
I'd never hear the end of that one.
Yeah, we do live on 5 acres, so that would not be totally out of the realm of possibility. There are snakes out here.
A turtle?
Oh, I'd probably keep him as a pet. I don't think I'd be that upset about a turtle in there.
Ooh, I like Mary's. A rooster.
One can wish, Mary. Let's just hope that Carl goes for a swim one of these days.
All right, spit it out.
Okay, so the answer, you guys, a frog, a toad, like a giant.
But yeah, not a little one.
A giant dead.
Like this one was well fed.
Bloated toad. Well, and he
wasn't even probably fed.
He had swollen.
Yeah.
He had swollen. Now I stuck my hand in there, and it feels like a squishy dog toy, like you know,
like a tennis ball size.
Only it doesn't go.
It might have.
Oh my gosh! Like I screamed.
But I really enjoy when you act this out, and
when I make
it's a good 5 minutes for anyone around you to figure out what it is.
It was a dead, bloated toad, you guys, and I touched it with my hand. This hand right here, the painting hand, the money hand. I know, the horror.
It's like you got a safety harness.
I'm not to insure my hand like Jennifer Lopez insures her thighs, you know?
And yes, FBJ said that she heard we had an awning or a pergola in the pool.
FBJ, I was like, what, New Deal, FBJ?
Oh. We're tight like that. It's cool.
Yeah. You're on a not even first name basis. All right, and then this is...
It just takes too long. It's faster to acronym it.
This is my neutral brush for my lighter colors, you guys. I'm getting this white into the Gulf. What do you think? Does that side good too? Ta-da! Yeah, it was the FPJ. That got me.
So the pergola was not in the pool.
Yeah, you guys were having windstorms and we lost the pergola behind our pool. It just the wind blew it off of the patio and it fell and broke the legs. So it's a goner. 'Tis a goner. We will be pergola shopping this summer. If you know any pergola deals, let me know. Costco.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Old FBJ.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Alright, I just fixed up under that lip right there. When I come up onto the top, I'll make sure that these all wrap the top. Okay, just turn this and I see a little spot in my light.
So as far as the quick movement on your brush, you don't have a lot of paint on there, so you don't have to worry about it flicking off,
it's
right?
so little paint. This coat is so little paint, you guys. I'm just perfecting. I already have 90% of the coverage that I need. Sorry, I just have a little spot right here that I turned and it caught the light differently.
Yeah, no big deal. We don't need to see it.
I know. Gosh. Okay, and now I want to make sure. So, I mean, I worked my way all the way around, and my colors here are slightly off. So I'm just going to fix this corner, and you'll never know. So this is mermaid tail, and I'm kind of softening it up as it wraps this corner. I mean, that might be kind of all it needed. So I just want to make sure that it's consistent going all the way around. And we worked our way around. This is antebellum blue. And then I'll get a little bit of midnight sky and just perfect this corner right here where my two are meeting up. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more mermaid tail.
Carly, I kind of figured that. Likes the way that you say pergola.
Swear, there's so many words. Like Sean tells me, what's the one? Oh, diluted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're always like, what are you saying? Dilute or dilute? He always is like, no, that's not even a word. But I say dilute, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can somebody look up pronunciation on that and prove Sean wrong, please?
It doesn't take much.
Dilute or dilute?
I'm married. I'm used to being told.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah. I just accept it.
When I was writing on Wikipedia this week.
About FBJ?
Yeah.
We just loop it all together.
About the new deal. Alright, I'm going to go around and get this drawer edges. I just pulled open my bottom drawer and I make sure all my drawer edges are blended as well. So I did a light sanding on there. And I'm going to blend out this top. I'm not adding any paint to these brushes because I just want to hit this little top of this drawer lip. It's such a small space. I don't need a bunch of paint on there.
Fireball June said, I need to slow it down for you.
Now you're going to pronunciate it.
Don't buy the pergola online. It's cheaper in the store.
Oh yeah, you know, that's so many things. Although I gotta admit, it is kind of nice when they just drop it off at your house.
I agree. Well, yeah, I agree with that. It's a blessing.
All right, I do my light sanding all the way on these inside edges to make sure those are nice and smooth. I don't want anything that's going to inhibit my drawers from closing. And then let's go ahead and make these match all the way around my frame. So in here, I got my antebellum blue. Just kind of looking around for what color goes where. This is antebellum. And then if these little edges peek out under my finish, they'll look continuous with my piece.
Oh man, maybe we should have a wooden one built. Pergola. I don't know about that. I got enough stuff to do.
Yeah. Oh my, we're drowning in projects already. Right now, you guys, in probably, what do you say, another week? Another 24 hours, you'll have the fireplace done?
What?
We're building.
Oh,
we're
you know
finishing
what?
our fireplace, so that's priority number one right now.
Sherry, yes. Her question is after all this time filming and whatnot, if I can paint as good as you. I have no doubt.
Wait, did you just say yes?
I have no doubt.
But the answer is no.
That
but he cannot. Sean,
just because I watch it a million times doesn't place talent in the lineup.
I'm not even kidding you. There are times when I'll say, "Oh, I need to go move." What was it? It was the birds piece.
Oh,
I need to go move the birds piece, and he goes out to the garage. It was a piece we did on camera. It was inspired by the movie The Birds. Like, we talked about it for an hour, and he comes back in and he's like,
"Huh?
I don't see a piece with birds on it." And I'm like, "It doesn't have birds on it." So not only do I think he can't paint, I don't even think he's listening right now. Are you flossing your teeth?
Who are you? Flossing my teeth?
Kidding.
Get it.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Yes, please do not. I don't want to have to multitask when I'm flossing my teeth.
Okay, so I'm just going around, and like if I have mermaid tail here, I'm gonna put that on the inside of my frame as well. So everywhere you see what's on the front, I'm going between my 5 brushes, and I'm gonna make that match on the inside. And then even when you're blending in these tiny little spaces, nobody's gonna see it. I just put the 2 colors next to each other, take my neutral brush, feather it out. That's it. Now it's blended, looks perfect. So it doesn't, they don't have to be as perfect on the inside, but at least make it look like your colors are consistent.
Oh, Carly. Just a little instigator this evening. So, yeah.
I feel like you're about to make a confession.
No.
What did you break?
But no. As far as us switching roles and me painting.
Oh, you know what? We've thought about that.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought about it for about 2 seconds.
Yeah, decided against it.
I was good.
Strongly against it. Sean sprays, you guys. So if you guys want to learn about spraying, like that's your guy right there. Which I did do my video last week on my YouTube channel, talked a little bit about all of our sprayers, introduced you guys to them, why I like each different one, and a little bit of information on choosing a sprayer. Spraying's a really broad topic because there's some things that can be different with every model of sprayer, and there's 500 different models out there. So what may be the case for my sprayer may not be the case for yours. So I can teach you, generic little rules, but I can't teach you all 500 sprayers that exist on the market when you're trying to learn how to spray. Unless you want to buy exactly the same one I have, and then we'll be twinsies. All right, and I'm doing up under this lip. I'm gonna be done. I'm actually pretty thrilled because this knocks this off of my list. And then I'm gonna not touch this piece. And when we come back next week, we will put our gold leaf on it. So the gold leaf is gonna kind of swag. I'll do the top. That's the only thing I have left on here. But the gold leaf will kind of swag across our colors. I think I'll do a little bit, maybe carrying on to the top, going up the side a tiny bit. So we're gonna bling this out, and that's gonna be the interest on this piece, aside from this really pretty finish. Oh, I
Sheila
see
said
now.
she saw that video, and then she realized after you had a lot of hair on your arms, and then she realized it was me.
Thankfully, Sean has tiny hands, tiny lady hands, so you can't even tell.
What the?
I'm kidding. You have giant man hands, of course. I know. He didn't see that. He was flossing his teeth.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We got around all the sides of this piece in 45 minutes with a ton of talking, too. So that's pretty impressive.
Sheila, shut it.
That's pretty impressive.
I do.
But I feel like if you're tackling blending, tackle just one part at a time, one side at a time, one transition at a time. And then it's a lot easier. If your paint starts to set up, add a little mist of water, that puts it in play again. Not too much paint, you guys. I mean, I could look at these brushes, all the brushes I've used tonight, and they're stained from me putting paint on them, but these have no paint in the brush. Okay, if I was using a ton of paint, I would really be frustrating myself.
Take that.
I mean, they're pretty dry, except for the fact that you can tell that I've used them. All the brushes are dry because I barely use any paint on my second coat. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I better leave these open because I do have to do the top. I won't try to do a top on camera because it's a super hard angle to get. Just gonna fix this little corner right here. But yeah, as I turn it, if I start noticing places I'm not happy with, oh, here's another thing though. You gotta know when to quit. You gotta know when to quit, guys. Sometimes you think, oh, I'll just fix that one spot. It wasn't that bad to begin with. If it's not that bad, leave it alone. You're gonna frustrate yourself more than anything. You know, I'm sure I could go around this whole piece and find little spots that I wish I would fix, but it's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. I like how the colors are going. I'm gonna fix this top and we'll go ahead and get into our gold leaf. I think I am gonna have to sand these drawer edges. I did paint them already, but I'll sand them down and then I'll just touch those spots up. They just have a really tight, I'm seeing this one right here, has a really tight squeeze into that frame. And then as you add, I added the layer of primer and now I've got 2 coats of paint and I wanna put clear coat on there. It gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. I'm gonna have to sand that down. So if you get rubbing on your frame, you either need to sand your drawer side or you need to sand your frame. Those are your 2 choices. I'm gonna choose the drawer side in this case. In fact, I'm gonna pop that out before it starts drying. All right, you guys, come back next week and we will put gold leaf on this. I do have a video, you guys, coming out tomorrow on my YouTube channel with a finish using silk. It's a pretty easy, basic finish, but a really cool look that I think you guys will like using the new Dixie Belle Silk line. So go to my YouTube channel and subscribe there for a new video every week. That's a start to finish video. I'll be back here next Thursday to paint with you guys again. The link is in the post if you guys want to check out any of these colors or find a retailer where you can go see anything in person. Let's see. I also listed all of our colors up there. All 5 of our colors are listed in the post. You guys
What about Bob?
What about Bob? I saw that movie. All right, you guys say goodnight to Bob. Say goodnight to Sean. Say goodnight to Brandy. Have a good weekend.